Hello, I'm so glad you could join me today. We are being very driven and called to pursue our goals and our dreams and our desires, and all of these things feel incredibly urgent. They are not urgent. All things come in divine timing, and I want to take just a moment um, to talk about divine timing and what concept a lot of people misconstrue is that divine timing means that it's when you need it. And unfortunately, that's not exactly how divine timing works. When we are setting out to accomplish our goals, there are a series of experiences and lessons that we must accomplish before we're going to be able to see, appreciate, achieve those goals. It could be dropped in your lap. If you are not ready for it, you will ruin it. You will throw it away. You will destroy it. You will not have been prepared to understand how to truly appreciate what you've worked for. There has been a number of times that I have thought I've gotten what it was that I desired. I've thought, oh, this is what it is that I want. And then I get into the situation and realize that it's not quite right. I was impatient. I wanted it. I thought this was it. I saw it. I was like, well, it's mine. And I took it. And then only to realize that my mentality about that right there, I had already been in the wrong mindset to really, truly be receiving what it is that I wanted. All of those things I had been working for, I felt entitled to receiving at a certain timing. That entitlement is what made sure that I wasn't actually ready. It was that sense of thinking that I knew it all, that thinking that I was fully prepared without recognizing how much bigger the things are around me, how much more is going on around me, how much ego was still in the way of what I was trying to accomplish. I was not working off of my intuition. I was setting demands and saying, well, this is what I want. And while that's very, very helpful for setting your intention for your manifestation, being very clear and deliberate, I want this. It helps you stay focused on what it feels like to have what you want. If you refuse to acknowledge that you're getting what it is that you're prepared for in order to prepare you for what you actually want, there's levels to it. Some of you are out there saying, well, I'm asking for guidance and I'm asking for blessings, and you were sent a message, you were sent to me, and you were like, not that one. Oh, well, that ego just got in the way of what it was trying to teach you. So unfortunately, we can be as dramatic and demanding and stomp your feet and scream at the universe. This is mine. This is my intention. I'm going to have this thing. You can do that all you want. All you're going to get is what you can handle in that mind state. That's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to be able to access because you aren't in the right state yet. But instead, if we sit back and we say, I am doing the work, and I recognize that there are levels to this, and I recognize that there are things that I might not have thought about. There are situations that I did not plan for. There are going to be experiences and challenges that I have not considered prior to all of this occurring. And I'm willing to be humbled. I'm willing to see what comes to me, knowing that it's all mine. This experience that I learned from, and the next one that I learned from, and it's going to keep getting better until I have exactly what it is that I wanted. But if I don't humble myself and I'm not willing to do the work at the levels, I'm already telling the universe I'm not ready for that. Like, what are you trying to accomplish by thinking that you know it all? That's your ego in the way. Spirit's trying to share with you the steps and the lessons to get you there, and you think you know better. Okay. Well, if you know better, then what are you manifesting for? What are you praying for? What's the point of that then? You don't know better. You have an idea of what will make you happy. And Spirit wants to show you it's not a specific thing that's going to make you happy. But the journey in getting there is ultimately going to be more rewarding than anything else. You're all ambitious. You're trying to prove yourself. We get it. Why? Why are you trying to prove yourself? To who? That's ego in the way of your blessings. It's in the way of your experiences. And it's in the way of you enjoying your life right now. Take a break. Relax. It's retrograde. Time to kick back and rejuvenate. Rest. Slow down. Breathe. Work on your intentions. Work on your planning and your focus. I have another card that I was pulling out here. Emperor. Now, there is a huge jump in maturity, perspective, understanding, patience, compassion, diplomacy from this card to this card. This is what we're going after. We want to be steadfast in our intention, meaning I know what I want and deserve is right for me. I feel it in my soul, and I also understand that there is more out there than I have taken in yet. The Emperor does not sit there and go, heard it, seen it, blah, blah, blah. That's not an Emperor energy. Emperor energy is compassionate, understanding, wise, and listens. Wants to take in all of the information, contemplate, and fairly distribute the way things are supposed to be. The Emperor is stable, steadfast, unwavering in the commitment to betterment of all, not just the self. The result of your manifestations is not a part of your goals. There is going to be a big hindrance into you accomplishing that. While you may look outwardly, say, for example, one person told me, well, I'm working in the fashion industry. How does that benefit humanity? I'm never going to benefit humanity with fashion. How not? Do you benefit the world with beauty, culture, and making people feel good about themselves? That's 3 things that can better humanity with something that people think is superficial and think is completely, conceited. It's not. You don't have all of the perspective that Spirit has, and Spirit is trying to show you all of this perspective. Sit down and observe. Listen. Take it in. Feel the lessons. Allow it to guide you. Allow your feelings to guide you. Allow your intuition to guide you. You're on your way and you're going to get there. You get there, okay? I see it. I feel it. I give it. Divine Mother. Our holiday season comes upon us with great difficulty for you and many of us. This is the most critical time for us to be loving and compassionate with ourselves, especially along our journey, especially on the times that we are not following our instincts, especially in the times that we are criticizing ourselves for what we have or have not accomplished, especially when we are feeling things like abandonment or feeling unloved or feeling unappreciated for who we are or what we can accomplish or what our potential is. All of this is negative self-talk. All of this is not honoring the Divine Mother. In order to truly appreciate, one of the lessons that we're going to have to learn is love and compassion for the self. And that's probably the only lesson that really comes down for most people. Even the most confident individuals sometimes struggle with self-love. In fact, sometimes outward confidence is a mask for people who do not truly love themselves. They're able to exude this sense of, I am, and then when nobody is around, there is all this doubt and questioning and confusion in their own mind and heart. Each and every one of us struggles with feeling adequate at some point in your life, whether it was a parent, whether it was a sibling, aunt and uncle, your grandmother or grandfather, a schoolmate, a friend early on, an early boyfriend, a late boyfriend, a husband, your own children. Someone or something has occurred in your life that has made you feel less than, like not enough, inadequate to what has been going on around you or in that situation or in your whole life. At some point, every one of us has felt that insecurity of, and that question of, and that doubt of whether or not they were right. So the Divine Mother has come to us and asked us to take a moment and reflect upon that unconditional love. Now, some of us did not receive unconditional love from the source that we felt initially, but now we've come to realize that there is another source of unconditional love. In fact, there's infinite sources of unconditional love as soon as you're capable of tapping into them. But the initial source of unconditional love is from within. It's from the self. And if we first try to focus and hone in on the feelings of self-worth, self-esteem, self-love, self-care, patience and compassion with who you are and the journey that you're on. All of those things that have happened up until this point, and you are still worthy, and you are still divine. You are still a blessed creation on this planet, in this realm of existence, in this time of existence. Here we are, sharing this space, sharing consciousness. And isn't that perfect? Isn't that just a beautiful, wonderful thing that we can share? I love that you're here. I love that I'm here first. And the fact that I'm here is amplified because you're here. So I find this great love of self, and I find that when I embrace that love of self, I love those around me unconditionally as well. I love them even if they are incapable of loving themselves. I love them when they are incapable of loving me the way I need to be loved. I love and forgive all things that transpire against me, for me, because I know that ultimately what matters is only within myself. And there is a great deal of peace and contentment that comes from being that first source of unconditional love. And once you're capable of that unconditional love for the self, your cup will overflow into others, and you cannot help but inspire others. And as you're inspiring others and this energy is changing and shaping around you, what you're going to find is that you start to really enjoy the journey and the lessons and everything that's occurring, and things start flowing to you effortlessly. It all begins in here. There is absolutely nothing external that we need in order to be happy. Obviously, we require certain sustenance and protection and safety in order to be provided for in those basic human ways. But those also do not provide happiness. While we think, oh, well, if I had enough money to pay all the bills, I would be happy. There are lots of people who pay all their bills who are not happy. It's not the bills that will make you happy. As much as it will take some stress off of you, absolutely. It would take a tremendous amount of stress off of me to have the bills paid a lot more easily. But that's not what gives me joy. And because I haven't paid some of my bills on time lately, it doesn't mean that I'm not joyful. I feel wonderful. I feel fulfilled and I feel complete, and I feel as though my purpose here is greater than these little things. I can get rid of and I can sacrifice some things as I need to, in order to make that other stuff work. But I can't let go of who I am to love myself. I have to love myself as I am, in this place, in this moment, the way that I am. Imperfect, still learning, lots of work to do, lots more to go, all the flaws, all the errors, all the history, all the inconsistency, all of that, still love myself first and foremost. That is that divine, unconditional love of Mother, and that is a source that comes only from within. Divine love, divine nurturing starts with the self. Okay? We are drops in a vast ocean. Ocean is limitless potential, limitless possibilities. The ocean has opportunity for us that we haven't even considered yet. There are depths of ocean that have not been explored and probably never will be, unless you yourself desire to explore those. Now, there are also within this ocean challenges, difficulties, struggles, upheavals within the natural system of the ocean as it moves with the moon, with the energy, as it flows in and out, as the ocean grows and nurtures life, as it takes life, as it spits life out. All of this potential is just within one concept. And there's really no different way to explain you yourself as an individual here in this experience and all of the potential that you possess. It becomes a very big, scary concept if you don't kind of break it down and simplify it for yourself. So what I like to do is I like to throw lots of ore and what if into my meditations, into my self-thought, and my own self-direction. I like to leave room for opportunity for things that I could not have possibly thought of in advance, that I could have not have possibly even considered were an opportunity, that it's just beyond my comprehension, some of the things that have occurred, simply because I was willing to open myself to experiences that seemed foreign to me, that seemed not within the area that I was but I'm a natural explorer. I have this curiosity about the world, and there's so much in the ocean that hasn't been explored yet, and there's so much out there yet. And even the things that have been explored, there's things out there that they still don't know about those things. There's more to be discovered. And it's limitless. You can continue and continue and continue. You should never be bored. If you're bored, you need to pick up a book or put on a show or go outside, go spend some time in nature, go have a conversation with someone, go visit a nursing home, go volunteer at kindergarten. There's all kinds of opportunities for you to widen your perspective, widen your pool of resources, your pool of opportunity, and open yourself up to all of the potential that exists around you. And yes, you will come across some stuff that's like, oh, not so desirable. But can you not learn to navigate and also avoid the things? Can you not learn to also recognize those things in the dark? All of these things are possible. And especially on that illumination thing too. The other part of the ocean that I like to talk about I'm feeling very much like there is a misunderstanding about places where the light does and does not reach. And there's certain aspects of life, there's certain parts of things that we do that the light would not permeate. It would not reach. These are under human things, and that's just simply not true. Everything is touched by the light. The degree that which the light reaches does vary. The source from which the light emits varies. But even at those depths where the light from surface doesn't reach, there's light from the sources within that darkness. There are creatures that are sources of light in the darkness. Even in your darkest places, even in the most difficult, even in the most carnal places, you can still be light. You can still acknowledge and access that aspect of the self. You can still be holy and divine and explore all that life has to offer without changing that. That's a subject that I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me with. They're gonna say that that not all endeavors can be divine, and yet we are here, humans with free will and capable of all of these acts. I would say that with very few exceptions, most carnal human acts that are not from violence and are not from hatred. These are not intentional beings. These are beings that are being drawn and forced from other hands. There is some violence that occurred in my little town just recently that came overwhelmingly close to my place. And in fact, they finished their work on the stripping what they, taking what they needed out of this person's vehicle after they murdered them and stolen it. And they deposited these things on my property to dispose of them. And as I walked outside in the morning and realized that this was not just a bag of trash sitting on my property, I started to approach it and felt an overwhelming sense of pain that just was incomprehensible. I just could not approach it. And I turned around and I very calmly walked back into my home. And just within a few minutes of me contemplating that, I recognized that multiple police vehicles had arrived. I did not call them. Somebody else had already called them. And then later I found out that they were doing the investigation, but within minutes of them depositing these items on my property, which I have divinely protected as sacred space because of the work that I do here, they were caught just minutes from here. So they did not get away with their crime for very long. They only got away from their crime. And that even in that very, very dark place, very dark, scary endeavor, there was a little beacon of light. Because that family doesn't have to wonder if there's a murderer out there. They don't have to wonder if they will ever find justice for their loved one that was taken so cruelly and callously from this world. She was a mother, and so many individuals are ripped from their families far too early from these senseless acts of violence. That act of violence was not a divine act. That was an act of cruelty and anger, and they were not acting within their divinity. But mine was strong enough. Mine stood through the dark. And the continuity of that permeated through that darkness just enough just enough, so that there's a glimmer of light at the end of that for other individuals. You can be that. Even in these dark places, even in these scary places, even when you are uncertain, even when you think that you don't have any say or any particular influence, you absolutely do. You have an opportunity to make a huge difference just by changing your perspective and considering how vast everything out here is, and how much more there is for us to experience and love and share with each other. So much love and blessings to you all.